from the good old days. In the words of Jerry Garcia, what a long, strange trip it was. The Swingin' 60s. I'm John Berg. See you then.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
This morning was a denial. He asked former FBI Director James Comey to end his inquiry into Flynn's possible crimes, calling Comey's June testimony a lie and saying the FBI is tainted, dishonest, with a reputation in tatters.
You tweet and comment regarding ongoing criminal investigations at your own peril. I'd be careful if I were you, Mr. President.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says Michael Flynn is key to determining if there was any collusion between the Trump team and Russia.
If there was coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russians, I can't think of a person who would know more about that than Flynn.
James Comey just tweeted, "I want the American people to know this truth. The FBI is honest, the FBI is strong, and the FBI is and will always be independent." The GOP-led Congress is moving forward with two different tax reform bills, but the expectation is that lawmakers will get a final bill to the president by Christmas. Budget Director Mick Mulvaney on Face the Nation.
If something small happens in conference that gets us across the finish line, we'll look at it on a case-by-case basis. But I don't think you're seeing any significant change in our position on the corporate taxes.
The Pentagon is said to be looking into West Coast missile defense sites.
I'm Tom Foti. The Reuters news agency reported the agency in charge of protecting the country against missile attacks is now scouting the West Coast for places to deploy new anti-missile defenses against North Korea. Indeed, the president's national security advisor says of Kim Jong-un,
"The greatest immediate threat to the United States and to the world is the threat posed by the rogue regime in North Korea and his continued efforts to develop a long-range nuclear capability."
National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster at the Reagan National Defense Forum in California. Tom Foti, CBS News, Washington.
A new CBS News poll is out on Alabama's upcoming Senate election. CBS's Anthony Salvanto says Republican Roy Moore has a 6-point lead over Democrat Doug Jones.
If you look at the people who say that they're definitely going to show up, who tell us that, who voted in the past, who vote reliably, among that group, they give Roy Moore an edge right now.
A Southern California teenager has confessed to molesting dozens of young children.
It all came to light when police in Riverside say the 18-year-old's mother brought him in after he told her he'd sexually assaulted 2 boys, 8 and 4, at a motel. During questioning about that crime, investigators say Joseph Boston admitted to molesting 50 children since the age of 10 in various cities. Right now, Boston's being held on $1 million bail on suspicion of sexually abusing the 2 young boys.
KNX Radio's Karen Adams. This is CBS News.
At our home, winter nights are complicated. Either I end up freezing,
or I'm sweating.
Hi, I'm Missy Tannen.
And I'm Scott Tannen, founders of Boll & Branch, the world's most comfortable sheets.
And now, we've created the world's first luxury flannel bedding, available for a limited time at bollandbranch.com. Try them risk-free for 30 nights.
Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set, plus free shipping with promo code SLEEP. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. Promo code SLEEP.
Attention small business owners, you know how hard it is to get funding to grow your business. Next Wave Funding is a direct funder that can help you get the cash you need when you need it, even if your credit is not that great. If you've been in business for over 1 year, have at least $12,000 in sales every month, Next Wave will purchase your future earnings and give you the money you need. It's as simple as that. This is by far the easiest and best funding for existing businesses. Call 800-430-4566. That's 800-430-4566.
Good afternoon. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz, AM 1340 KOMY La Selva Beach, FM 1041, KSCO.com, 404 on a Sunday. Hope everyone's doing great. I'm Jason Struby. Let's check on your local roadways. Highway 1, all clear through Santa Cruz and Monterey County, north and south. Looks like 17, a bit of traffic there north to the Cats. Backed up for about a mile and a half until you get through town. Otherwise, 17 all clear. 101 looking good in both directions from San Jose to Salinas and back. Traffic hazard reported Hames Road at Enos Lane about 15 minutes ago. Looks like trailer parked on Hames Road, blocking traffic. Traffic hazard at 346 on Day Road on the 1000 block. Disabled van or vehicle of some kind. Partially blocking the road. 1 southbound at 68. Looks like a report of a fire half an hour ago in Monterey County. Fire on the side of the road. Possible campfire. Terrific. Keep an eye on that. Traffic hazard at 315, 11,000 block of Highway 9 near the Brookdale Lodge. Apparently this is a male in the roadway. Otherwise, major roadways looking good. Your weather tonight, clear skies, chilly 38 degrees. Your low, sunny tomorrow, high near 61. Chilly tomorrow night as well, a low near 37 degrees. High winds throughout tonight and tomorrow night, and a coastal flood warning through Tuesday. Looks like you boaters have a small craft advisory in effect through Monday afternoon, along with winds to 25 knots, northwest swells 9 feet at 15 seconds. 406 at KSCO, still got a couple hours if you need to pick up a last-minute Doc Wallet product. We're here for you, 2300 Portola Drive. It's 406, time now for a live edition of the Veterans Take Charge radio show with your hosts, Justin Baker and Dave Ramos.
We see the problems because the problems are everywhere. But you know what? We have the solution. We are the solution. We are the pillars of our community, of our nation. We know how to move forward. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. There are solution strategies at our fingertips. So pay attention. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Veterans Take Charge radio show.
Wait a minute.
Press FS. Hopefully you guys are watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. You can see that Jay Stroop left me hanging high and dry for my high five. This one's for you, buddy. This one's for you.
Clear the glass.
Yo, welcome to the Veterans Take Charge radio show. My name is Dave Ramos, former combat medic, 68 Whiskey in the United States Army. On my right, as always, my battle buddy for life,
former U.S. Army Ranger Justin Baker. Welcome to today's broadcast.
On my left, I would like to reintroduce and re-welcome Heather Dobson, Air Force veteran from Arizona. I was trying to say something about making bombs, but I
Ooh, no.
Yeah. High five.
High five.
Bam,
High
welcome
five.
back.
I'll never leave you hanging.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me back, you guys.
Thank
Welcome
you for
back.
coming back. Thank you for flying.
We were
Well,
eager to have
actually,
you back.
flying to be here in the studio because I needed to be here instead of just talking to you over the phone.
And it makes us feel really special when people fly in like that.
Yeah.
So that is awesome.
Yeah. Before we go really deep into what we're going to talk about today, because I am very much looking forward to talking about more veteran business stuff, as well as some of the shenanigans we've been seeing in the media.
And malarkey.
Oh, shenanigans and malarkey. Doggone it. I would like to direct everybody to go to facebook.com/KSCO Vets. That is our Facebook page. Also go to zbsradio.com and look up the Veterans Take Charge radio show. That's where our archive is, all of our previous episodes. Last week, we had an excellent broadcast with the Veteran Sportsman Alliance and their K9 division. We had so many people here in studio. It was awesome. As
and
well as
pets.
Yeah.
And dogs.
Yep. Whenever they arrived, I was like, oh, it's the first time we've ever had animals on air with us. And they were like, well, thank you.
So we had Scrap Iron and Maverick and Dixie in studio with all of the Veteran Sportsman Alliance personnel, and it was very good. It was very good because everything that they do is obviously it's for veterans, but training an animal, training a service animal, and then giving a service animal free to a veteran. We got to hear from a good handful of callers as well as the personnel in studio, and learning a lot about what goes into the training, learning about like financially. $60,000 to train an animal, not including I almost said VA stuff, not including veterinary care, not including food, and all of that for these extraordinary animals that are then given to service members and veterans.
$60,000 just to get the dog ready to go to the owner, and then there's continuous training throughout the life as well. The training never ends, basically. You know, those service animals were really well behaved. I can't say the same about the Veteran Sportsmen Alliance. I mean, it was a madhouse in here.
Rick Marchetti, Tom Connolly, Michelle Connolly, and as well as Brett Johnson, of course, and some significant others, as well as some extraordinary animals were here in studio. So I highly recommend you guys scope that out, as well as all of our previous broadcasts over at that archive.
Dude, Veteran Sportsmen Alliance is doing some of the coolest stuff for the veterans. Brett showed me a photograph of his most recent fundraiser that he did, where he gave this vet who had lost both of his legs Lapua sniper rifle.
I think he was missing an arm as well.
Man, and they custom fit this thing for him, and they took him out shooting with it and took him on a hunt.
And he bagged some game.
I love that. I love organizations that are doing things like that. Yeah.
Me too. It's impressive. I mean, and it's like uncovered ground. Like, I haven't heard of anyone doing that just yet. Mm-hmm. But the fact that the VSA's figured that out and how to get donations for the weapons and buy the veterans a weapon, I mean, it's other people will follow in suit, and it's going to become a bigger program. And we talked about expansion of the VSA because he's realizing there's some other holes that he could fill in as well as far as services veterans need. So it's only going to get bigger. Everything is getting bigger.
Yeah, what are some of the more unorthodox things that you've seen veterans come up with in terms of like business?
Oh, in terms of business, the cool thing about veterans is they have an endless supply of ideas, and being able to identify where a gap is and to create a solution to fill that gap. And that's why I love working with our community so much, is because you see a problem, you create a solution to the problem, and then you realize, hey, I'm going to turn this into a business. Yes. So I have seen so many different things from true deep passions with a family connection. I met a woman at the Military Influencer Conference I was at a couple of months ago, where she has her grandfather's barbecue sauce recipe. And she is bound and determined to get this barbecue sauce in every store across the country. I mean, and it's amazing. It's called Mutt's sauce, and it's fantastic. She had all these, not even samples, like she was giving bottles away. And
oh God,
she is someone who, she, like, that just exemplifies to me, like, this is the passion, right? Like, this is, I know this is the best thing. I'm doing the best sauce. I'm doing it because I love my grandfather. I want to continue the legacy that my grandfather left behind. And so there you have that all the way to, utilitarian, like here's, even solving internet problems. How are we going to protect our websites? We were talking earlier, a guest I had on my show last week, he is a Navy veteran. His brother-in-law is a Marine Corps veteran. They identified a need with websites being hacked and malicious software being installed in websites. So, okay, how are we going to solve this for the small businesses? How are we going to solve this for the people who don't even know that their websites are vulnerable in ways that they are? And they built this business and then got acquired within 7 years. I mean, it's just, I've seen everything, and it's so fantastic.
You just brought up something really good. There's a need. We recognize the need, we develop solution strategies, and we attack the objective. Not only do we attack the objective, 9 times out of 10. Well, I don't know about that statistic, but more often than not, we achieve our goals, and that's why we're here doing.
I think the veterans tend to be successful when they put their mind to something too, because we have that intestinal fortitude to endure multiple failures along the way and just build on the failure. Make it an education instead of a failure. You learn as you fail, and eventually success follows.
It's constantly iterating, right? It's, okay, that didn't work. What are we going to try next? There's an additional ingredient for success of veterans, and that is
let me guess.
Go ahead. You want to guess?
Coffee.
Well, I hate to say, but I don't drink coffee.
Whoa.
Yeah. I am an anomaly. I don't drink coffee. I don't even like the smell of coffee.
Oh my goodness.
But bring me a Dr. Pepper and I'll be happy. The ingredient I think that makes veterans so successful in starting their own business or being successful in life, if they're really committed to it, is that we all have a commitment to serve.
Yes.
And it is beyond our time in the military. It is that we want to continue to serve. We want to serve our military community. So active duty, military, mil spouses, we want to continue to serve that. But we also want to make an impact. We want to continue to make an impact. And for so many of us, when we leave the service, we're still floundering.
Oh my goodness.
We're still trying to figure out, like, I felt like I was a part of something bigger. I was definitely a part of a team. I felt like I had an impact. And no matter what your role is in the military, it's an important role because we're all depending on each other. And so when people leave the military at first, there's a tendency to just feel like I'm not making an impact. And so from a business perspective, wanting to continue to serve after your military time is a vital ingredient to success.
You know, I noticed too that the veterans who, from what I've seen here in Santa Cruz at street level, the veterans who lose the desire to serve, a lot of them are the ones that kind of fall to the wayside, become homeless, and it's because they kind of, in a lot of ways, became self-serving. You know, a lot of them became drug addicts, alcoholics, and they were just thinking about their next fix, serving themselves. Those of us who stay within the group and continue to volunteer and do things like this radio show, we stay tied into the bigger network. And the people that we're working with are like, these guys help me. They use the broadcast. I have this. I'm going to help them. And it comes full circle, you know? So those of us who continue to serve have more opportunities because of that service.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think there's a tendency to, if you are having negative experiences after you get out of the military with the VA, which I think we've all experienced that, some type of negative experiences and some worse than others. But if you continue to, fight for what is yours and you continue to build your community and build your network with those around you who support you as well, you're only going to have more opportunities. But if you make the conscious decision to just be a jerk about everything and just be mad about everything, you're never going to find any kind of resolution. And that's typically the kinds of people that fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
We can only help the people who want to help themselves.
With anger, a lot of times comes closed-mindedness. You shut down in a sense. And I literally, I pulled back. Like I got out of the Army. I was high on life. I had been a Ranger. I had survived 2 combat deployments. I had a lot of life experience that people in my age group at 24 or 25 did not have when I got out of the service. And so I felt like I was on top of the world. And the VA failures began rapidly after that. And they were consistent. And it's been 12 years, and they still are somewhat consistent. And I lost my point. Damn it, man. Damn it.
You
hate it when that happens.
Remove the warrior from the war, there's this existential vacuum. We've been trained, top-tier training, and we are experts at everything that we do. But once we no longer have that mission objective, all of a sudden, like, now what? Now what? And that's why...
And the pace of everything. In the military, it was like boom, 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 knocking down obstacles left and right. And now it's like...
Well, that creativity has to come into play, because if I'm having this existential vacuum, I need to figure out, like, what's going to fill that, what's my mission, what's my goal, and how can I push that out to others.
What is going to be fulfilling to me and meaningful and fulfilling to me. And that's an individual responsibility. And that's the very first thing that I tell people. It is your responsibility to determine what is going to be fulfilling to you. But what has happened with a lot of people is they haven't been given permission to develop an understanding of what is fulfilling to them.
I think I just had a crazy light bulb, because as a grunt, so to speak, as a junior enlisted, what are we waiting for? Direction.
Somebody to tell you what to do. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you need me to tell you what to do, I'm going to tell you, determine what it is that makes you happy and what is going to feel fulfilling to you.
This is one of the reasons why I love the concept of veteran businesses, because again, getting back to it, like, we see a need, and a lot of times it is maybe it is a self-serving need. I know that I need help in this avenue. I know that I need help on this front, and I know that I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I know that this is something that's going to help me tremendously, but I can also help my network, help my brethren, help my peers.
Well, if we look at transition programs, when you transition out of the military. Okay. Now, I've been out of the military for quite some time.
Are there programs for that?
Yeah.
There's programs.
If you blink, you miss it.
Sure. And this is really interesting because I have this discussion all the time with people like me who have been out for a while, with people who got out 2 months ago, asking them, what was your transition program like? Explain this to me, because
sip of water from a fire hose.
And what did it feel like getting out of the military and going into the civilian world, not sure what you're going to do, and scary as heck, like really insanely scary, because as a nation, our military is not doing even an adequate job of preparing those of us who are getting out of the military to go on and live meaningful lives.
I just had this crazy light bulb. High school, did we learn how to pay taxes? Did we learn how to fold our own laundry? Did we learn how to apply for a job? Heck no.
Nope.
We should talk about why we're not a little more prepared for the transition from military to civilian, because I think there's a financial reason for it.
Ooh.
So let's talk about that when we get back.
I like that idea.
Okay.
Proud and steadfast. I almost said welcome back. Hang tight. This is the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We're in studio with Air Force veteran Heather Dobson, and we'll be right back.
This is Peter Gelblum. I'm the chair of the Santa Cruz chapter of the ACLU of Northern California. On December 5 at 7 p.m. at the Resource Center for Nonviolence, 612 Ocean Street in Santa Cruz, we will be presenting a forum called Free Speech in Hateful Times, Navigating the First Amendment After Charlottesville. The speakers will be Christine Sun from the ACLU of Northern California and Zari Bilou from the Council on American Islamic Relations. I'll be moderating. The event is free.
Justin and Dave, send our vets to the True Olive Connection for pain, inflammation, anxiety, and sleeplessness and more. The True Olive Connection has 0 THC CBD oil, which means no cards, no license needed, just pain-free, walking away with lots of love. At the True Olive Connection in downtown Santa Cruz and in Aptos. And we at the True Olive Connection want to thank you and your families for your service. We hope you have a happy, safe, and healthy holiday season. Come on home. Opa!
Is your internet connection slow? Etheric Networks can help you. Etheric Networks is the Bay Area's locally owned alternative to DSL satellite and cable. We do a few things to make our service better. We have a great reputation, and our staff is committed to providing a great user experience. We listen to our customers and listen to our staff. We pay living wages. Our staff are local Bay Area engineers and professionals. We provide flexibility and personalized service. Being in Silicon Valley, we have direct contact with the networking software and hardware companies and can bring new technologies to market before the cable and phone companies. We operate a tower-based fixed wireless network as well as a fiber optic backbone network that rings the Bay. The combination creates an ultra-reliable high-capacity network that you ought to try. KSCO Business Special. Business service up to 10 megabits per second symmetric for as little as $299 a month with a $399 installation fee. Etheric Networks. Call 650-399-4200. Etheric.net.
From Steadfast, welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. Hopefully you guys are watching us live on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. Again, facebook.com/KSCO Vets. YouTube is KSCO Global. Find us. Look at us. Look at my t-shirt. Look at his t-shirt. Look at her shirt. It's awesome. Hey, before we continue on about the financial reasons you think that we have such a bad transition out of the military, I want to plug this event coming up on December 9th at Samper Recital Hall, Cabrillo College, as well as December 16th at 846 Front Street over on 846 Front Street at the Veteran Memorial Building, December 16th. Both events, December 9th and December 16th, start at 4 p.m. We collectively, Vets for Vets of Santa Cruz, is going to be screening the documentary Almost Sunrise about two veterans, Tom Voss and Anthony Anders. I got it written down. I apologize tremendously to those two warriors. But we're going to be screening, it was Anthony Anderson, Tom Voss and Anthony Anderson, two Iraq veterans who decided to, instead of killing themselves or drinking themselves to death, they were going to walk from Wisconsin to California to raise awareness for veteran suicide, for the hardships of the veterans. And it's, first off, it's a great documentary. Second off, after the documentary on both events, we're going to be holding a discussion panel. And the discussion panel is going to revolve around moral injury, post-traumatic stress, post-traumatic growth, and trauma, suicidal ideations. And what we have in our personal experiences, our personal opinions. I'm going to be on the discussion panel on the 16th over at the Veteran Memorial Building. Some of my very good battle buddies are going to be at the discussion panel on the 9th, as well as the 16th. We've got Jess Silva, Dina Bravo, Terrence Plank, Chris DeMaio. It's going to be awesome.
All kinds of local veteran superstars.
Yeah. Strong people. Dean Kaufman, Travis DeYoung, they're going to be the hosts and the moderators. And it's going to be a very good time. If you want some more information on this, look up Veterans Take Charge Radio Show on Facebook. Look up Vets for Vets Santa Cruz on Facebook. Hit me up, dr@ksco.com, or send us an email, veteranstakeCharge@ksco.com. Any kind of questions, comments, concerns, you can also shoot a message to 719-679-3283, and I will react accordingly.
Beautiful.
We will react accordingly.
I will react accordingly.
He will too. And promptly as well.
All right. So before the break, we were talking about the lackluster transition assistance programs going from active duty to retired or veteran or.
So my point was there are financial implications that should be discussed and never are. And that has to do with the savings of the U.S. government, them saving the money by not providing us everything we need to expedite our disability cases coming out of the military, or for the veteran to get out back into civilianhood and get a good solid foothold on life and be able to take charge of his financial life the first day out of service. Instead, what we see is a consistent and perpetual struggle. My VA case is 12 years in the making, and the thing was the evidence has literally been there all along, supporting no less than a 60% disability rating, yet the Army gave me 20. Okay, my Army doctor said they will not give you less than 40. At 30%, you have to be considered for full medical retirement. And so by them giving me the 20%, even though my Army physician said I would give you 40, and if I was actually on your med board, I would give you 60, because technically you have all those symptoms. So what happened was, now with the evidence that I've compiled over the years, having to become a lawyer for myself and beat the VA at their own legal code, what I've found is they conveniently miss pieces of evidence that would have made it a sure victory in 2006. My belief at this point is, what is the dollar savings by not giving me the full amount that I should have gotten? And here's the thing is, I'm not fighting this battle just for me. This is bigger than me. There are tens of thousands of veterans that are dealing with the same thing. I happen to be one of the unlucky ones that didn't step on an improvised explosive device and lose a limb, and so my injuries are invisible. Okay? I walk into the VA, the first thing they do is, patient presents as a normal, healthy male. But they never say, so how's your pancreas? Because that's what we destroyed with your military service. How's that doing? You know, they never ask that. What they say is, oh, he looks fine. And then they use that as negative evidence against me. And my point is, like, there's a perpetual cycle of a struggle for us that we shouldn't have to deal with. We have earned the right to these benefits. I actually went to war twice, and I was promised before I even signed the military contract, you're going to be taken care of 100% if you get hurt over there. I'm not stupid. I asked the questions that I needed answers to before I signed the contract. What if I get hit? What if I lose a limb? Oh, 100% medical for life plus disability. And I'm like, okay, cool, give me that contract. And I sign on the dotted line, and the next thing I know, I'm jumping out of perfectly good airplanes and getting into gunfights with the U.S. Army Rangers, right? I signed up for that. The problem was I also signed up for fast healthcare and fast benefits. I didn't sign up for a 14-month wait for my initial disability rating, which by that time I'm in financial ruin, right? Because I already lost my military career at 23. And by 24 and a half, I'm still waiting on the VA to make a decision on a case that the Army had already made a decision on. But that also took them a year.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of layers going on here. So,
definitely.
So I mean, to even suggest that our government would cut corners to save money is what?
Is it unpatriotic to suggest that, first of all? Because a lot of veterans get pissed at me for my stance on this, but I think somebody's got to take the stand and make this point.
Holding them accountable is patriotic.
Yes, right.
Yes,
yeah.
That's what I believe too.
Holding the accountability.
Go ahead.
So there's a lot of layers to this. So I don't disagree with you that there probably in a lot of cases, actually, there are some very short-sighted decisions being made. Like, well, if we don't pay him or her this money now, we're going to save that money now.
Exactly.
But
I
if
believe that's what they're doing.
If the government was playing a long game, they would understand that it would be much more beneficial to invest in the health, the education, and the skill sets that we are giving to veterans as they go out into the civilian world. In the long run, it would be much more beneficial.
So is this a short-term gains issue? I mean, they're looking at, let's keep as much of this money in our bank account this year, and like if the guy's lucky, they're not saying hopefully he wins this case. They're saying hopefully he doesn't.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gives up. And we see that all the time. Veterans like, I'm over it. I just can't do this anymore.
The very specific challenge that we're dealing with the VA healthcare system is that the VA healthcare system was never designed for nor ready for a 16, 17-year war.
Is that the problem?
Yes.
Because the war has gone on so long. Because I would assume they would expect an influx after that initial invasion. They would be expecting an influx of wounded.
That's reactionary.
But it's reactionary. They were never prepared for that. They were never expecting that. They were, to go into something, a conflict or a war is not supposed to be 16 or 17 years and continuing, right?
Especially if it's not a war, but a policing action.
Yeah. Not only that. We also, with the increased capability of field medicine, we're saving more people in combat and bringing them home.
Doc Ramos. Best medic 2008.
So bringing them home with a variety of injuries, right? Both visible and invisible. And so we weren't prepared. The VA, when I say we because we are a country. We are still a country, and we've got some messed up stuff going on right now, but we are still the greatest country in the entire freaking world.
I believe that as well.
And so there's a lot of things going on here. And the challenge is clearly, how do we solve it, right? So we can get really, really angry at the VA. I get really angry at the VA for myself and for my friends. We can do that, but we've got to realize that the way to solve this problem, I'm talking specifically about healthcare for veterans here, is not going to only come from the VA. It's not only going to be government funded. It is going to be through a coalition between government agencies, private sector healthcare, and the community who is supporting veterans.
That's a perfect segue into one of the questions that I had about why veteran business on all fronts is important to the health of our economy and whatnot. But before I get into that, let's take our phone call. We've had, I think Billy Bash has been waiting very patiently. Billy, welcome to the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show.
Number one, thank you all for your support and your service. Okay, that's number one without a doubt. I say that to every service person, walking or not. That's number one. That goes without. That's a given. Number two, I wanted to suggest that if you folks could listen to the song by Huey Lewis and the News called "Walking on a Thin Line." It's made in the 80s. I know it's a little dated, but it describes a veteran coming back from war. What can he expect? So I think you can use it on your program to bring in segue and end it. It's got some great words you guys will, and it's about a specialist too there. So you'll appreciate that. And I just want to say that I'm going to try my best to try to help you folks as best I can, because my dad was Airborne Ranger, DI, Vietnam and Korean War. He jumped at 17 into Korea, which was a police act, Anyway, much love to you, and keep the fight going. And I would the music, man. Check out "Walking on a Thin Line." You will. I'm sure you'll want to use it. It's made for you folks right there. It's slower, but boy, does it talk the talk. So anyway, much love to all you, and keep up the good work for the military. And I just got blessed and met the commander of the Presidio, and I'm going to talk to him about my artwork.
Nice.
And the Colonel Brown. And I'm hoping to throw some things his way for the veterans, as well as my art, historical military art that I'm an expert at. And so much love to you, and I'll talk to you folks again. Yes.
Real quick. Can you send us an email? Send us an email at veteranstakecharge@ksco.com. Reason being is because we've got some art projects going on for the Veteran
Yes.
Memorial Building, and I want to see if I can't wrap you up under that.
Well, I do models, miniature models exact. I did a Custer battle about a Little Bighorn from a Native American point of view as well as the cavalry, and the commander seems to really think he might be able to work with me. So I would love to connect with you guys as well. You know that. So I can have my friend connect with you. He does the emails and stuff for me. One of my reps.
Beautiful.
Colonel Brown. Colonel Brown is a badass.
I was going to say, when you see Colonel Brown, give him a hug and a high five.
I didn't know I was talking to a colonel. I realized, I was looking at all his salad on his BDUs. We called them BDUs then. What do they call them now? The battle dress uniform.
They dress blues now.
Okay, but he had that on. He had the master parachutist combat jumping with the wreath around. That was my stepdad. Same thing. CIB. He had, and then I look down. I see Colonel. I go, sir, because what I do is I walk up to all veterans or anybody here in a uniform and thank them. I don't care what your rank is. I come up. I don't care what your part of the military is. I make a point of doing it. It just happened to be the Colonel. So I got blessed, brothers and sisters. I got blessed to meet the Colonel, the man, the garrison commander. So I'm going to see. I thank you for that kudos, and I'm going to try my best to get on his graces because you never get to talk to the colonel. You know that in military operation that never happens. But try that walking on thin line. It'll draw all the old veterans as well as your new veterans. It's a great song. To listen to it real careful, the words, okay?
Solid, Billy, solid. Thank you very much.
And I'll be emailing you. You'll hear from Billy Bash. It'll probably come from a guy named Quentin McKee. He's my associate.
Too easy.
Thank you, gentlemen and lady. Yes, ma'am. God bless you. You got my vote, lady. I swear to God. We need more of you out there. You bet. Much love to all of you, okay?
Much love to you, too,
Billy. Keep up the good fight. Bye-bye now.
Billy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We get nothing but good feedback about Colonel Brown.
Yeah, you know why? Because he's awesome.
He's got his hands in all kinds of stuff, too. Actually, Billy mentioned the Battle of Little Bighorn with Custer from the Native American perspective. Colonel Brown is working with my Indian tribe in Big Sur. And my tribe is, on the verge of getting federal recognition.
Dude.
And they've been working at it for, 25 years. They're literally, within a couple years of getting it. At that point, I'm going for a casino. And then I'm set.
I'll be there playing blackjack.
You guys will have VIP passes.
All right, awesome.
High rollers.
I love it.
Getting back into business, and so if we're going to fix the VA, if we're going to fix the plight of the veteran, as I've kind of coined it, if we're going to provide solution-oriented strategies, I don't think that privatizing the VA is the answer. Fixing the VA, might work. I kind of go back and forth with it. Sometimes I'm like, burn it all down. Build it back up,
that's where I'm leaning towards is burn it down and build it back up.
But think about all the infrastructure.
But how is that feasible, right? But we've got to make sure that we have personnel in place from the top down that understand the challenges that our veterans are facing. And this starts with who we elect into political offices locally, at the state level, and at the federal level.
Yes.
That's why we're voting for Veterans Party of America in the next election.
So this is something that really drives me crazy when I'm talking with my friends who are veterans and they're complaining about the state of something. And then I ask them, okay, in the most recent local election, who did you vote for X? Well, I didn't vote. And then usually my response is, well, then shut up.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing to make an impact? What are you doing? The more action you take, the more direct action will happen for you and the people who you care about around you. And so like you said earlier, because we did choose to volunteer, go into the service, commit a portion of our lives to giving back to our country, we have a certain expectation, right, of what they told us. Your healthcare, you're going to be taken care of. Education, depending on whether you chose to use the GI Bill or not. But we also cannot sit back just as human beings and expect that everything is going to be handed to us or is going to fall into our lap. And so again, it comes down to individual responsibility and standing up and saying, I am not going to just sit down and be angry because the VA is not giving me what I want. I am not going to just sit back and be angry. I am actually going to take action, and I'm going to find a community of like-minded individuals who understand, who are empathetic to my situation, and who are moved towards action.
There you go. It's all about the action.
I'm going to give you a high five for that one.
All
Yes.
right, I'll
yes.
take it.
I think realistically, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head in my mind. We have to have a coalition of cooperation, and there might be a little bit of compromise in there. But really, I think the VA, when they're right, they're very right. Unfortunately, when they're wrong, again, people die. So in that aspect and in that regard, there has to be the inclusion of the private sector. The inclusion of veterans who own their own businesses that are picking up the pieces.
Right.
They're the safety net where the big massive cracks in the VA sky exist.
Well, exactly. And then you also have the nonprofits, right? The nonprofits that are coming in to fill those gaps where the government is not able to help or where large corporate entities are not able to help. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. So for those of you who are listening, I mentioned earlier that Dr. Pepper, I don't drink coffee, but Dr. Pepper. So Nori just had a nice ice cold Dr. Pepper tall boy delivered to me in the studio. This is amazing. Nori, I just fell in love with you a little bit. So thank you.
We like yerba mate, Nori. You want to come back?
Oh my gosh.
That is awesome.
That's fantastic.
Beverage delivery. We should ask for a keg of beer.
I love our audience.
This is
I
the
love
best.
our
Listen,
listeners.
I feel like I should come once a month.
Welcome home.
Yes, thank you. This is fantastic. I also host a show, and this has never happened to me on the show that I host. This is fantastic, Nori. I love you. You're amazing.
The show just gets better and better.
Yeah,
Hold
I
that
love
thought.
it.
We're going to go to our commercial break. We're going to come back and pick up right where we left off, sipping on some BTT and some Dr. Pepper. This is the Veterans Take Charge Radio Show. We'll be right back.
Hi, registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs here. I've been studying healthy bodies for 35 years, and what I've got to tell you may shock and surprise you, but if you listen up, it may change your life. One of the most important health strategies you can use is simple, easy, and won't cost you a dime. In fact, you'll probably end up making money in the long run. I'm talking about reducing calories and even fasting, healthy ideas that have been practiced for thousands of years. Caloric restriction and fasting turn on genes that stimulate growth and repair and slow down the aging process. If done correctly, they can help keep the body in fat-burning mode. And they've got important effects on stimulating motivation and drive and brain power. After all, when someone's young and ambitious, we often say that they're hungry. In a famous experiment in the 1940s, scientists from the University of Chicago showed that they could increase lifespan of animals by up to 20% simply by denying them food every third day. And in a review that was published in 2007 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, researchers from the University of California at Berkeley found that alternate day fasting could save lives by decreasing risks for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, the three leading causes of death in the United States. Moreover, they found it helpful for the nervous system and the brain, improving cognitive function and providing protection from Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease too. Fasting lowers insulin levels in the blood, which is always a good thing. Excessive insulin secretion is associated with all chronic degenerative diseases, as well as accelerated aging, and keeping insulin stable and low is one of the most effective ways to assure a long, healthy, and disease-free life. Pharmacist Ben here, urging you to go to KSCOhealth.com to order Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, and other nutritional supplements that I personally use and recommend. You can purchase these premium quality products at wholesale prices online at KSCOhealth.com. That's KSCOhealth.com. I'm the pharmacist that believes that staying healthy and strong is not only about medicine, it's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to do its work. Go to KSCOhealth.com. Make sure you check out the cool videos too at KSCOhealth.com. That's KSCOhealth.com.
Welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge radio show. This is Air Force veteran and current GoDaddy employee Heather Dobson. I am so happy to be here as a guest with Mike and Justin. Thanks, guys.
Mike. Oh, this is a mic.
Dave.
Dual mic.
Dave.
We got dual mics in here.
You can't trust an Air Force chick with anything. You know that, right?
It's a solid mental note.
Yeah.
It's a solid mental note.
I think she was just too busy looking at that sharp shirt that you're wearing.
Yeah, that shirt is nice.
Journey for change. Trying to make change. Trying to make change. Positive change for veterans who are struggling with suicide and suicidal self-destructive behaviors. You know, Journey for Change marched from Santa Cruz to Sacramento specifically to get in the face of lawmakers and be like, yo! And then say some more stuff. So.
Did they make it?
Heck yeah, they made it.
Did they get in front of lawmakers or law
pretty
enforcement?
Pretty darn sure they do. Ooh.
Oh.
Peaceful
pretty
protest.
sure they made it to lawmakers.
Nice. Well, that was the goal of the mission.
Yeah, mission accomplished, yo.
Too bad Paul McCain wasn't there to greet them as our California state senator, huh?
I think he marched for like a day.
Maybe this time around. Paul McCain, 2020.
Fingers are crossed. Fingers are crossed. I've been thinking about that guy. Hey, let's talk to... I'm pretty sure it's AJ. Is it AJ?
AJ.
Heck yeah. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up going?
Hi,
What's going on,
AJ.
guys? Hey, Heather, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah, how's Japan?
You both are doing so good right now.
I am going to
Japan's
visit AJ in Japan and go diving. I'm a scuba diver. And, you guys know AJ's a diver, too. So I'm totally taking him up on his offer to go crash on his sofa and go diving in Japan.
That sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's cool. You can couch surf.
Yep.
Nice.
Wait, so isn't the water like radiated from Fukushima? Are you guys gonna dive?
No, I don't think that's true. But
that's not a thing.
No, it's not a thing.
I don't know, man. Pacific Rim 2's coming out.
Sounds like I'm going straight to the sushi bar for this then, because I've been avoiding all Pacific caught fish for the longest time.
Well, I think if I ever see something that looks like it has been swimming around in radioactive water, I'll be sure to take a picture just for you.
Nice. Post it on Veterans Take Charge on Facebook.
Will do.
I bet I know what AJ's going to talk about.
Yeah, man. You got some stuff to go about privatized or government-funded VA healthcare.
Okay, well, if that's the conversation, we can do that one.
Nah. What do you think, man? What do you think? So there's the idea to privatize veteran healthcare, and then there's the idea to fix the infrastructure that's already in place.
All right, so, I mean, you just running the numbers, do the number crunching thing, get a little bit of economics about it, right? A privatized system is always going to be cheaper, no matter what, no matter how you slice it, than a government-run system.
Cheaper for whom?
Well, it's going to be cheaper for everyone. Okay. The second thing is if you turn it into a network and instead of an actual system, a network allows you to branch out and create cost savings by lowering your overhead. So, what I'm talking about is instead of having a healthcare system and like we currently have right now, which is the VA. The VA is a healthcare system. It's government run, it's government controlled, it's run by taxes, and you're talking one major entity that has a lot of faulty points trying to take care of 20-something million veterans. If you had I've always thought it'd be better as an insurance network. As an insurance network, you have the ability to provide the same care and services privatized through the private system, but the insurance care is provided to veterans. My idea has always been that we should have a private veteran-owned insurance network to the same likes that Congress enjoys with their health care, that we can take and use anywhere we wanted.
So let me ask you something. So with the idea that this is going to be cheaper for everybody, like I paid 7 years of my life and I get free health care for the rest of it for some very specific things. But if you
be careful when you use the word free. It's not free. You're still paying.
I paid 7 years for it.
You paid 7 years, but you're also still paying. You're still paying for it. You're a
taxpayer.
Right.
I mean, those taxes are also supposed to like fix potholes and crap like that, but we all know that's not happening.
So a lot of times you're separating. A lot of those taxes are state run or local.
Okay. So like I pay taxes, but that doesn't come directly. Well, All right, I need more time.
Be careful the words you choose.
Yeah, I need more time to formulate this. Never mind. Keep going.
All right. So there's a few inherent major flaws with having a large system that's controlled by one entity, i.e., a government entity for the VA, for example, that has cabinet level status, in Congress and everything else. the flaws are that you're not going to be able to find everything. You're never going to have enough manpower resources to take care of everyone. And of course, we see that constantly across the United States when these cases come out and become a big deal in the media. The other thing is that the VA doesn't take care of a large number of veterans that live overseas. I would know. I'm one of them. So the way the VA system works is it only works if you're in the United States. We have over 1 million expat veterans living around the world, all over the world, whether it's for work or retirement or whatever, and they cannot get taken care of. They're not. The VA won't pay for them to go to some hospital in their local area. It doesn't matter what their ailments are or if they have a disability rating or not. Wow. The most you're going to see is if you're 30% or more is a retirement paycheck from that VA disability rating. But you're not going to get any medical care. Period. End of story. If you privatize the system, on the other hand, if you privatize it and you turn it into an insurance network, now you're covered anywhere you go around the world. You can show up to a local hospital, see the doctor of your choice. If you don't like the one that's giving you a bad opinion, you have a choice in the matter. The problem with the system is you don't have a choice. As the healthcare system dictates who you see, a network, on the other hand, allows you to use your services to anybody that's a part of the network.
So I love the freedom of choice. I absolutely love the freedom of choice. But if there's a private insurance, if there's like a private military insurance or veteran insurance, would I be paying on top of the taxes that are already being taken out?
Well, I don't know. I don't have all the answers to it, but there's a possibility that could be the case. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is the greatest idea on the planet, because I'm sure there's some amazing ideas that lots of people have had over the years. But if we're talking about trying to fix something or create something new, I would always be on the advocate. I would always advocate for the side of fixing it, or correction. Man, I just walked myself into a circle. I would always be on the side of creating something new versus fixing a behemoth that would take God knows how many billions and trillions of dollars to fix.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because this is exactly what we're trying to do here. Is like we've been talking about this for the last 40 minutes. Is veterans have such new and unique ideas because of the experience and because of the exposure and what we see and how we do it, that we can come up with that new, great, innovative thing, be it an insurance safety net or X, Y, or Z, a new patent or new product.
So think about this. Everybody that goes in the military becomes a member of the TRICARE network, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, TRICARE is a private insurance company. Did you know that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not some government-run operation. They're a private company. They open themselves for bid, and they oversee a large number of different branches around the world. For example, if you're in the United States, you may be a member of Tri-West or Concordia or any of the other different sub parts to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are all private insurance companies. They handle veteran-only insurance claims. So when you go to the hospital on base when you're active duty and something happens, who's paying for it? TRICARE is. That's how you get seen. It's not free. It's coming out of your paycheck. And it's the same thing as having regular insurance as a civilian. So why not just keep people on TRICARE? Why not carry over that care as a veteran? In fact, why not just maintain their records in digital data, digital form, which they all are now, and set them up into a network or a system or a hub that could be maintained for life? Then as you go to use your insurance with any doctor that can cover any one of the different injuries or ailments that you might have anywhere in the world, you simply submit your TRICARE card.
And that has all your data in it. That's one thing I've noticed as far as failures in the medical system is they're not communicating office to office. And so
no, they don't.
With that data in the system, you could go to any hospital on earth and they would know, oh, this person's allergic to this drug. Let's not give them that. And our healing capabilities interact.
Yeah,
exactly.
The challenge is here that the entire healthcare system on the civilian side in this country is just as messed up.
Well, that is true, but we're talking again about a healthcare system versus an insurance network. Healthcare was doing great when a lot of people owned their own businesses. When people started conglomerating themselves into giant hospitals, then it started, slowly going downhill. You can crunch the numbers on this over the decades and see that this holds true. So the principle is the same, whether it be the civilian side or the military side. Anytime you have a collection of resources under one roof, you create inadequacies in the supply and demand. So why not just allow veterans to maintain their own private veteran-only health care network like I said, to the same likes and benefits that Congress enjoys, because Lord knows they earned it, if anybody, right?
I mean, yeah.
And then allow them to maintain their records in a single linear fashion. You built it when you were a private or an airman or a sailor or whatever, and you keep it for life. And then as you exit your post-service days, and you begin to I don't want to use the word transition, because I don't believe that veterans ever transition. You begin to adapt to civilian life, right? You're still able to use the exact same digital records and health care that you had while you were on active duty.
I dig it.
I have to be honest with you. I'm glad you brought that up. If Colonel Brown's listening, I think it's important for our leadership to tell the lower enlisted guys to track their medical history, because my biggest problem with the VA was the data was spread out at multiple bases where I served, had sustained injuries in multiple spots or illnesses in multiple spots, and now the data's disappeared, which is convenient, not one bit for me, but completely for the VA's case against me, right? All the evidence was there. They possessed it, but my leadership never said, dude, you've got to keep control of this file. This is your life on paper. You might need this to win your disability case.
Well, just like Heather, I'm absolutely certain. When I first came in, all my records were on paper.
Right.
There was no digital anything. Service records, dental records, medical records. Those three things you carried with you every place you went, and you had to check them in and sign them out on when you PCS'd or when you ETS'd or you got out, whatever. When I transitioned from the Navy to the Army, I had my hard copy, my paper records with me. And I went to the Army. At that point in time, the Army's like, "Oh, let's take those off your hands and we'll scan them in."
They said that to me too at Fort Benning.
Right? Well, they much of them disappeared, But thank Lord that I did something very few people do. I made copies.
Yeah, that was smart. AJ, you were smarter than I was. My medical records don't exist. Yeah.
And that's not entirely. That is not entirely unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
My father retired in 1994 from the Navy, and all of his medical records at the time went to the VA center in Florida, and they magically disappeared. And then somewhere around 2002, there was this huge story that came out where in Tallahassee they found hundreds of thousands of records stowed in a janitor closet.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm told that my medical records are inaccessible. Who knows really where they are?
Probably stuff behind a bookcase somewhere.
And how does that benefit you exactly?
Yeah, it has zero benefit for me.
But it saves the VA $1 million a year in medical pension for you.
Yep.
Right, but if you now there's two more things here. Number one, if we're talking about holding accountability to the VA, you're talking about a system that is way bigger than any other system in the entire United States, bigger than any other healthcare network, and bigger than most departments, with the exception of a few big three-letter ones, right? So the trying to hold them accountable is extraordinarily difficult, especially on the individual side. Unless something blows up and becomes national media and pressures them, forces them against their will to look at themselves, which is typically the case of what happens, then everything gets swept under the rug. The second thing is that trying to fix the VA is going to cost so much money. How ungodly in debt are we today compared to 30 years ago, especially with wars that have been dragged on for 17 years? That's not supposed to happen. Right? So our national debt is so hyper-inflated, just beyond recognition, what we grew up with, that adding to that, imagine adding to that trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars, trying to fix one thing, one oversized, massive behemoth that takes care, or is supposed to take care of, 20 million individuals.
Sounds like replacement.
Privatization could work in that respect, because we've got all these medical offices in the hospital of Palo Alto, and we should rent one of those offices out to a chiropractor, and one of them to a masseuse, and one of them to a naturopathic physician. And if we had the private businesses coming in and renting that space instead of us paying a doctor to be there all the time, the VA could be paid for by outside businesses.
So and this is a typical conversation when it comes to businesses and socialized systems, right? So somebody's going to get paid. The resources need to be paid for. The guy, the physician, the nurses, the staff, they all need to be paid. The supplies need to be paid. Somebody's going to pay that. You're going to end up with ballooned costs, which are super high, and a lot of it's hot air. All right. Where on the other hand, if you had private businesses, they're getting paid for the services, utilizing the time that they're actually there performing those services. Okay? So with a private system, if we had an insurance network instead of a VA healthcare system, if we had an insurance network, we could show up to any doctor we wanted. We could, basically, down the street, you're like, I really like this doctor. He's a private doctor, owns his own business. He's really good at what he's doing. What he does. He's been, he was whatever in medical school. He's been doing it for 50 years. He's an awesome guy. You have that choice. You can do that. You can't do that though with a VA system. With the VA system, you walk in, they tell you what to do, how to do it, and who you're going to see.
Maybe, if you're lucky.
Yeah, if
or
you're
they'll
lucky.
tell you you'll get to see somebody in 6 months or 8 months or 9 months.
Okay, and with a private system, you can walk right in tomorrow.
Yep.
We've got to take a break, guys. We're at the top of the hour. This is the Veterans Take Charge radio show. AJ, stand by.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. President Trump is countering recent developments in the Russia investigation with a flood of tweets. CBS's Tom Foti reports.
The weekend after his former national security advisor pleaded guilty to felonies and agreed to cooperate with the Russia interference investigation, President Trump was back tweeting away against the FBI and insisting he never asked former FBI Director James Comey to stop investigating his ex-national security advisor Michael Flynn, a topic much in evidence on Sunday news broadcast interviews.
What we're beginning to see is the putting together of a case of obstruction of justice.
California Democrat Dianne Feinstein of the Senate Judiciary Committee. She was on NBC's Meet the Press. Tom Foti, CBS News, Washington.
Former FBI Director James Comey tweeted, "The FBI is honest and will always be independent." A CBS News poll of likely voters finds Republican Roy Moore has a 6-point lead over Democrat Doug Jones in the Alabama Senate race. CBS's David Begnaud surveyed some voters in the state.
At the Pelham Diner in Shelby County, Alabama, we met Penny Lloyd, who told us that despite the allegations against Judge Roy Moore, she will vote for him because
he is the lesser of two evils.
Was there ever a hesitation?
No, not after he won the primary, no. I recognized it as a railroad job, a hit job, pretty quickly.
Penny's husband is George Lloyd. He too is voting for Moore.
Do you have any reason to not believe the women?
Not especially, no. I believe that it's very possible that all of the women could be absolutely truthful.
Two companies involved in health care may be getting together. The drugstore chain CVS wants to buy Aetna Insurance for $68 billion. Dan Mendelsohn with the consulting firm Avalere Health says the merger could provide consumers with more affordable options that fit their specific needs.
It's a very creative combination. There really isn't anything like it in the marketplace.
CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
Earlier this year, Aetna was forced to scrap its planned acquisition of Humana. That was a direct competitor, and actually has really been left reeling after that particular deal fell through.
27-year-old Ryan Rodriguez, found in New York with a missing Florida teenager, faces an extradition hearing tomorrow. CBS's Meg Oliver.
Surveillance video captured the pair as they made their way up the East Coast. Late Friday, a New York State trooper spotted them and took Rodriguez into custody.
Could she have been leading a secret life?
We don't know at this point what all happened. All we know is that we have her back and that she's safe.
Rodriguez faces a charge of interfering with child custody, a felony in Florida.
I think that there's consequences for your actions and that he needs to face those consequences.
This is CBS News.
At our home, winter nights are complicated. Either I end up freezing,
or I'm sweating.
Hi, I'm Missy Tannen.
And I'm Scott Tannen, founders of Boll & Branch, the world's most comfortable sheets.
And now, we've created the world's first luxury flannel bedding, available for a limited time at bollandbranch.com. Try them risk-free for 30 nights.
Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set, plus free shipping with promo code SLEEP. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. Promo code SLEEP.
Is credit card debt ruining your life? Now you can have a large portion of your credit card debt forgiven. Get Relief Today wants to give you free information that shows you how. This program is proven to work for credit card debt, medical bills, and department store debt. We'll give you the secret to this money-saving program absolutely free. 800-207-8558. That's 800-207-8558. That's 800-207-8558.
Good afternoon. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO, Santa Cruz, AM 1340 KOMY, La Selva Beach, FM 1041, KSCO.com. 5:04 on a Sunday. Hope everyone's doing great. I'm Jason Struby. Let's check on your traffic conditions. Not a whole lot to report out there on your roadways. 117, 101, mostly looking good. Couple of patches of traffic. 17 northbound to the Cats. You're just a bit below the limit there for about a half mile or so. 17 southbound, heavy at the Summit. Although, again, you're out of there in probably less than half a mile. Looks like a little bit of a traffic jam, 156 to Prunedale, typical for a Sunday evening. Although you're really not much more than a mile or so under the limit there. Or not under the limit for more than a mile or so. 85 is clear, 101 all clear. North to south. 68 and Highway 1 in Monterey County, all good. 183, 129, 152, Highway 9. 68, 218, all clear. We got a coastal flood warning in effect from today through Tuesday. Be aware of that. And you boaters have a small craft advisory in effect on the Monterey Bay through at least tomorrow night. Clear skies tonight, a low near 38. Even chillier tomorrow night, a low near 37 for Monday night. High winds tonight, tomorrow afternoon, and tomorrow night up to about 25 miles an hour. Sunny tomorrow, a high near 61, and it's 5:06. Time for Hour 2 of the Veterans Take Charge radio show right here on your favorite station, AM 1080 KSCO.
Welcome back to Veterans Take Charge Radio. We're having a fascinating conversation. We lost veteran AJ, but he's calling all the way from Japan, so we got to give him that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother.
That is
very much so.
Real long distance.
He's still listening to us because he's commenting. Yeah.
AJ, I respect your opinion so much, dude. When you call, you add nothing but insight, so feel free to call us whenever.
He's pretty brilliant, that guy.
Master's in sociology, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He's read some books and stuff.
And stuff.
And written.
Yeah.
I gained a good perspective on that because I'm not so versed on the private sector and the public sector in terms of like insurance and healthcare and whatnot. I like to think that I can get my way around a conversation, but this definitely opened up my eyes and shed some good insight. So thank you very much, AJ.
What I want to say about that, to bring it back to where we started at the top of the second break with you saying, is it a financial thing? Where the government is saying, I'm only going to give you 20% rating instead of a 40% rating to save some money in the front end. Yes, I do believe that there is some of that. I also think it's short-sighted. It is just this short-sighted. We're going to save the money right now because how does our government work their budgets annually, right? Like annually and procrastinating, and what we can save here, we can push off, put over here. And so if we really want to impact change as a community, as a veteran community and the people who support veterans, we need to understand that we have to invest in the education, in the health, and the skill set development in all of our military members while they are still active duty, before they have made the decision or they're told that they have to leave the military. And if we're investing in that at the front end and we're giving people the skills, coping skills, to deal with the crazy stuff that we've had to do in the military, the skills to go out and start businesses and understand and feel empowered to start businesses, to move forward with their education, then in the long run, we will have fewer veterans who are dependent upon government assistance. And so if we will invest the time at the front end and the long run, it will be much better for everybody.
That makes perfect sense.
Freaking brilliant, man. Reducing the amount of dependence it's golden.
So I want to give an example that I've experienced based on what you just said, Heather, and that is the healthcare system, okay? The VA system is a good example of massive overprescription of pharmaceuticals. And for the most part, pharmaceuticals don't heal the root cause of the illness or injury, right? They are a symptom treatment. They're not a root cause treatment. And we did an interview on November 19th with Lieutenant Colonel Wallach, who is a naturopathic physician. And he was teaching us about the needs of the human body and nutrition, how much nutrition we need based on body weight. And what he was saying is there are over 900 chronic diseases that it has been researched and documented are caused by a deficiency in one or more vitamins, minerals, or amino acids. So the VA is not prescribing this method at all. Not one bit. And yet here is a Nobel Prize nominated physician who is probably the best veterinarian alive today. He understands animal health, which, for those of you that don't know, our health is pretty damn close, like in a lot of ways, to other mammals. You can treat them in the same method as you can treat us for many chronic diseases, and we both heal with the same treatment method. So that's what he's found throughout his research as a naturopathic physician and a vet. It's not two different things, two different treatment methods. You know, if a monkey's suffering from cystic fibrosis, you can treat them in the same way that you would treat a human suffering with cystic fibrosis, and you can expect the same results. So the VA model is prescribing drugs and surgery when in fact the root cause of all healing really begins with nutrifying the body, and then letting the body turn on its own mechanisms to heal itself.
I think little by little, incrementally, we are seeing integrated and alternative methods of treatment and therapy.
Coming.
It's very slow. I've been involved with veteran nonprofits that benefit veterans with mental issues for many years, especially PTSD, depression, anxiety, alcoholism, drug addiction, all of those kinds of things. And where a lot of that is starting is where it's either veterans who have overcome one of these obstacles, or it is a family member who lost a military member because of one of these things, and they're experimenting and looking at what are other ways that we can treat some of these issues. Look at yoga. Okay, yoga, meditation, transcendental meditation. Meditation is scientifically proven to improve your brain. It is scientifically proven. There is statistically viable data to show that this improves your brain. Little by little, these things are coming into the VA. Acupuncture, especially for pain, chronic pain. Acupuncture, these things are coming in. And these are coming from people like us who are experiencing these types of things and are fed up with being prescribed drugs or being told that we're crazy or that we're making it up and all of these kinds of things. And so this, again, goes back to my thing about stand up, take action, take charge. If you are fed up with something, take action against it. And so we're seeing little by little, it's not nearly quick enough. And it's also not, I just want to see more veterans advocate for themselves. Advocate for yourself.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
It's amazing. You just described exactly what's beginning to take place here in Santa Cruz and Monterey County. We're blessed that the show just happened to pop off right here where it did, because we have a huge veteran community because of the World War II base Fort Ord out there, which was a huge World War II base, huge Vietnam shipping base where they would ship guys across the Pacific on boats out of this area in Oakland.
Training camp.
So the Bay Area is the second largest veteran population in America, and we're here in the middle of all that, right? And what we see is all these nonprofits popping up, offering services that no one's ever offered the veterans, but are definitely needed.
Equine therapy for military sexual trauma.
Yep.
Let's go skydiving. Let's go hunt a boar.
Scuba. That's part of the reason why I'm working towards my dive master and becoming a scuba instructor, solely so that I can take veterans out diving.
Have you heard of float tanks? Or like
Yes.
sensory deprivation
Yes.
tanks?
Yes, I have heard. They terrify me a little bit because I really don't want to be alone with my thoughts. But no, I'm joking a little bit. But yes,
Only a little bit.
I have heard them. I have heard of them. Now, scuba for me, scuba is the one time in my day that I am 100% in the moment. Because when you're underwater, you have to be focused on how much air do I have? What depth am I at? Where's my buddy? Is my equipment functioning? Is there a shark somewhere around here? Like, I knew you were on here. Listen, there are two types of people. There are people who are afraid of sharks, and then there are scuba divers. Okay, like we want to see a shark. So all these different modalities of treatment, right? And it is saying, okay, what are the things that help us? The service animals, okay, the service dogs. I volunteer with an organization that rescues dogs specifically to become service animals. Nice. And so let's talk more about all of these different modalities of treatment and talk less about pharmaceutical treatments and pharmaceutical therapies, which have been shown not to work. Not only that, you said that the VA is in the habit of prescribing, and we know overprescribing, right? Mm-hmm. And then also when somebody says, oh, that drug is not, they shouldn't be using that, they go, okay, we're just not going to give that to you anymore.
Yeah, they just cut you off. In my case, so I have insulin resistant brittle diabetes, and I've taken 7,000 injections in my abdomen, and guess what? Haven't gotten one bit better. And it's like, do you guys, like, this has been 12 years I've been dealing with this since diagnosis. It's what ruined my military career in the Spec Ops. How many more of these damn shots do I have to take before my pancreas turns back on?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Mr. Baker, you have attitude problems. You got to take those shots indefinitely until you die. Which I find it, funny. My diabetes, diabetes.
Diabetes.
I want to get rid of this thing. And Dr. Wallach is over here telling me, well, you need the Pancreas Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, which will stimulate the pancreas to produce the right amount of insulin, and then it'll open up the cells where the insulin can absorb. I've designed this to do both of those things, and you're not doing either one. And the insulin you're injecting is not doing either of those things for you either. What it's really doing is stimulating the pancreas to stay in hibernation mode because it no longer has to regulate insulin for me because I'm injecting it directly into my body.
Generally, that type of medication creates more problems.
Yeah, listen to this. Here's something that's scary. So it used to be pig insulin. Mm-hmm. Now it is made from the deadly bacteria E. coli.
Oh.
What? VA didn't even send me a pamphlet on that. What are the side effects of taking E. coli insulin? Yeah, that's made from poop, dude. No, but so Dr. Wallach's method that he gave me would literally cost the VA the same amount of money. Yeah. They're spending approximately $750 a month on my drugs, right? And I'm not getting any better, and I'm ultimately just getting more upset about having to continuously stab myself in the abdomen and take insulin.
Right.
It's getting old.
So now you've been exposed to an entirely new way of thinking.
And it would cost the same amount of money, but actually provide healing.
You've been exposed to that.
Yeah.
So you can, now that you've been exposed to that and you're starting to understand that there are more options than just what the VA is telling you, you experiment
I don't even want to go to them anymore.
Yeah.
They're like calling me like, yo, you need to do an appointment. We're going to cut off your medicine. And I'm just like, you're not going to give me anything you haven't already given me, and it's not working either way. So why don't I just call Doc Wallach and get some more BTT? I mean, that makes me feel freaking awesome.
Nice save.
Ooh, I thought it was going to be me that messed up on the show.
I said shh.
Oh, yeah, you did.
That's how we do that from now on, too. I finally figured it out. I've been trying to get cursing on the airwaves without actually doing it, because that's $50,000 per curse word. We want to avoid that. Well, who is it that monitors the radio?
The FCC.
Yes, them. Our arch rivals, right?
Our biggest fans.
Yeah, they want to get the 50 G's per F-bomb.
Well, but that's why you guys are going to start a podcast.
Where we can curse up a storm.
You can curse. Yes.
Yep.
Damn straight.
Let's talk a little bit about business.
Let's do that. Yes.
Because
fired up.
Yeah, I mean, I get fired up about all of this too, but what I'm so passionate about is helping people through, like, understanding, number one, that they have the capability to start a business. And veterans are probably some of the most equipped people to start a business more than anybody else because they have that grit. Okay, forget about hustle. This is a word that's overused in our culture right now, especially in the business world.
But
Hustle.
I really like that word, though.
Well, you can like the word. I like the word. I don't like the connotation of it now, because it is hustle or die, hustle or die. Like, no, let's have some grit. Let's get some stuff done. Let's be strategic. Let's set some goals, define a strategy, and then implement the tactics. Right? That's what you have to do.
Spoken like a true veteran. Yes.
So, what I would like to see in transition, AJ, I know you don't like the word transition, but in transition assistance programs, or when people are deciding to get out of the military, whether it's retiring or just separating, that they're given some skills to understand, here are the different options that are available to you based on your skills that you have learned in the military, not just directly tied to your career field. Because for some of us, me being one of them, if you just look at my direct skills of, building munitions, there's not a whole lot of civilian counterparts, right? That are legal anyway. Yeah. So defining those skills that can translate into you going to work for a company or to you deciding that you want to start a business. I think that there's also a great divide between enlisted and commissioned people. Yeah. I hear the music.
Yeah. We'll pick it up right there.
Okay.
This is Veterans Take Charge Radio. We're going to take a short commercial break, and you get to listen to our sponsors whether you want to or not. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Tavia Avila. We are building a new radio program at KSCO. The show is called Walk the Talk, and it's all about people's dreams and goals and what is stopping them from achieving what they want in life. During the hour live broadcast, guests will receive resources in order to make their dreams a reality. We all have a life purpose and can all benefit from resources and support in order to make those dreams a reality. If you are interested in sharing your journey with others and receiving resources or being a resource for my future guests, then please contact me at 831-475-1080 extension 310, or you can email me at tavia@ksco.com. This talk show is not only about helping my guests who come on the air, but also about inspiring others to walk their talk. For more information, contact me at 831-475-1080 extension 310, or email me at tavia@ksco.com. That is TAVIA@ksco.com.
Satisfy your hunger right now with the delicious Japanese sushi to go you'll find at Sprouts, 2 blocks from the beach at 300 7th Avenue in Santa Cruz. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
Hello, I'm Junko, and I look forward to serving you at the sushi market Sprouts.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Costa, host of the Costa Report, and I want to thank listeners for helping to drive my new book, On the Verge, to the top of Amazon's new releases. This book kicked up a lot of controversy about how much we know about the future. Every day our knowledge about the future grows more and more certain, which is why I'm certain you'll find On the Verge entertaining and informative. So if you haven't grabbed a copy yet, there's still time. On the Verge, available at bookstores everywhere.
Satisfy your hunger right now with the delicious Japanese ramen and sushi you will find at Kaito, 2 blocks from the beach at 830 41st Avenue in Santa Cruz. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
Hello, this is Koji. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my restaurant Kaito. Hope see you soon.
Moving fast. Welcome back to the Veterans Take Charge radio show. We're talking business, and I got a couple of things to talk about, things to issue out. So, according to the veteran-owned businesses and their owners, that was published April of 2017 by Joseph Sabota for the Office of Advocacy, U.S. Small Business Administration, there are roughly 2.52 million veteran-owned businesses in our country right now. And we've been talking about veteran business, and Heather, I think you're absolutely right. We have a very unique skill set and a lot of good characteristics that help define the type of businesses and the business entrepreneurs that we are. But I wanna ask, like, what if? Because I've had thoughts for a very long time of opening my own business, my own nonprofit organization. Much like Justin and much with Justin. But there's a couple of ideas and realistic hindrances that what if I don't have time? What if I don't have the money? What if I don't have or at least I make it's a better way to put it. What if I conjure up all of these excuses?
Right. Well, I would first say that you're human. This is not. God. This is well. I don't know. I'm not fully determined that yet, but these are yeah, these are very common excuses or reasons that I hear almost anybody who say to me when I say, like, start a business or do this. It's like, I don't have time. I don't have a skill set. I had one particular person in my life who said to me, "I'm too old to do anything else." She was so miserable. She was so miserable doing what she was doing. She said, "I'm too old to do anything else." And at that time, she was 37 years old.
Oh, man.
And it breaks my heart. When we're off air, I'll tell you who that was. But it breaks my heart that people even think about this, that I don't have time, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the skill set. Because my response when people say that to me is BS.
Yeah.
That is BS.
Bullshit. It's a self-limiting response,
It is a self-limiting response. Here's the thing. It comes down to priorities, clarity, and focus. And my mantra is, don't talk about it, be about it.
Oh! Bam!
If you are going to talk about, I want to do this, okay, either do it or shut up. Because what's happening is you're saying, I want to do this, and somewhere in the back of your brain is telling you, you're such a loser, you haven't even done that yet, you don't have time, you're so stupid. Your brain is your own worst freaking enemy here. So either take action or shut up, table it. But the whole, I don't play that game of I don't have time. I don't play it. Now, how you prioritize your time is the important thing here. And some people have families, spouses, significant others, children, jobs, going to school, all of those kinds of things. Again, it's priority. And then it comes down to clarity. It is getting really crystal clear on what you want your life to look like, what you want your business to be, or what you want your job to be. But if you don't have clarity, you are going to continue to just think, I think I want to do this, or maybe I'm going to do this, or I want to do this. You are presenting yourself with way too many opportunities. Get really clear. Once you're clear, then you develop that focus. And it is that laser-like focus. This is the thing I am going to do. And I am here to tell you that every single person in this world has 24 hours a day. And there are people who are way more successful than you are, that have families, have illnesses, have other responsibilities, but they have created the clarity and have prioritized it.
All of a sudden, I feel like I need to go do something. Sometimes I do feel like too much bread, or too little butter spread across too much bread. I feel sometimes just pulled in too many different directions.
Yeah. Now that goes. Listen, this happens to us sometimes, right? I'm the same way. I have a full-time job. Plus, I have several little side hustles. Sometimes I try to have a life. Now, I'm single and I don't have kids, so I have that advantage of being able to, like, really throw myself into work and doing those kinds of things. But we all get spread thin for a period of time. But understand, okay, while I'm working and I'm going to school, it's going to be like this for right now. Mm-hmm. Develop your life in 2-week sprints. Don't try to plan everything for 5 years in advance or for 3 years in advance or for a quarter. Take a quarter, take Q1 of 2018 and develop it in 2-week sprints because things change, right? That's one of the reasons that I said for a long time, like when people ask me, what's your 5-year plan? I'm like, I have no freaking idea because I have done so many different things and I'm constantly evolving and I have new ideas and new things that I want to do. So I was resistant to even making any kind of plan, a 5-year plan. People would say, you have to know exactly, like envision it, what your house looks like, what your job looks like what, and I'm like, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. So doing those kinds of things were impossible to me. But we know within, barring any type of emergency situation, we know pretty much what our life is going to look like for the next 2 weeks. So you prioritize in those 2-week sprints instead of worrying about 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Now you can have your big goals, right? 5 years from now, I want my income to be X. Okay. And like AJ said in one of the comments on Facebook, then you reverse engineer that. Okay. If in 5 years from now, I want my monthly revenue to be $10,000 a month, great. You can do that. Now you've got the goal, develop the strategy. Once you've got the strategy of how I'm going to get to that and how long it's going to take me, then you implement the tactics.
Nice. You know, one of the things that I kind of picked up throughout my experience, setting goals, but then making sure that those goals are broken down into tiered goals that build up and build up and build up. And I really like the idea of projecting, 2 weeks. I think it's tangible. It's something that I can like wrap my brain around, and it's not so grandiose and massive. Like my goal is to own a yacht.
Yeah. The problem with having huge goals like that is that
it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, and then you start to feel like crap because you haven't accomplished it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm X however old you are and I don't have a yacht yet. Okay. But what we forget about is celebrating the small wins. Yes. Celebrating the small wins is really important, even in those little 2-week sprints of, okay, I got that paper done for my class, or whatever it is, celebrate those small wins. And I'm not saying celebrate by, going out and buying a car. Treat yourself.
Couple cold ones, good to go. It's the 2-week time frame too is beautiful because you can really get a lot done if you're focused in that time frame. You can look back the day after the 2-week time frame ends and you could say, I just killed it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And all those things are crossed off the list.
That's exactly right. The other thing is, do either of you guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Okay. So Gary Vaynerchuk is a marketer. He's got this whole long story, and he's an awesome dude, somebody who I really admire and look up to. Many years ago, probably 8 years ago, before I even knew who he was, I watched a keynote speech that he did. And I loved it because he was up on stage in front of all these people wearing t-shirt and jeans, and he drops the F-bomb left and right. It just made me fall in love with him immediately. His goal in life is to own the New York Jets. That's one of his big, hairy, audacious goals, a BHAG, we call that. So he was talking about you can use social media. One of my favorite things that he said in one of his books was most people make $35,000 or $40,000 a year doing something that they hate. Right. When they have a job, they're miserable. But if they understood how to build a business, how to market, how to leverage online marketing like social media and websites, they could make $30,000 or $40,000 doing something that they're really passionate about. Somebody asked him, this is going to address your question. Somebody asked him in the audience, they were like, yeah, but I have a family and I have a day job and I'm just kind of doing this on the side. Like, how do I really accomplish this? And he said, listen, you go to your day job, you do your day job. You go home, you spend time with your family. You have dinner with your wife and kids. You put the kids to bed. You stay up until 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, grinding out what you need to grind out. Stop watching Lost.
Yep.
And he used an F word in there too. And in that moment, I was like, that's the thing, is we tell ourselves we don't have time.
Mm-hmm. But we have the same amount of time as every other human
exactly
being on the
right.
planet, and that's 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I like the business principle of time compounding, which is where you're in a team-building business.
Mm-hmm.
And now each team member has 24 hours a day, so your productive time has effectively doubled with each new team member that you brought in. You got an extra 24 hours.
Well, this goes back to what we were talking about on the break is, this is the plight of a small business owner, veteran or not. You are focused on your thing. Okay, whatever the thing is that you love and that you're passionate about, right? I use the example all the time in Phoenix, where I live. Somebody has a car that's wrapped, and they're a mobile bird groomer. Okay, mobile bird, like parrots and
beaks.
macaws and all of that. So mobile bird groomer. This to me is this is the most beautiful thing, because that is a person who had a clear and concise passion. It was or solved a problem. Like, I have a bird, and my bird is kind of a jerk, and he's hard to take to the vet to get his nails and beak and his wings and everything. So if I'm having this problem, other people must be having this problem too. So I'm going to create a solution to this problem, right? Brilliant. It's amazing. But that's just a perfect example of, listen, find something that you're passionate about, but then build your community. So maybe this person is the mobile bird groomer, and one of these days I'm going to find this person and interview them. But that person is really good at what they do, right? Just filing down beaks and trimming nails and talking to birds and doing all this kind of stuff. But they may not understand how to build a website, and they may not understand how they should be leveraging social media. Mm-hmm. They may not understand how to do small business accounting, all of those kinds of things. This is where having a community leads to your success. And yes, and in our veteran family, our military family, because I'm including active duty veterans and military spouses in this, because let me tell you, there are some military spouses who have spun up some really incredible businesses.
Straight up.
And you want to work with somebody who has some empathy for your situation? Mil spouses, for sure. But there are people who are in this community that should be banding together to help each other. Collaboration over competition. You're really good at your thing. I'm really good at my thing. I want to get better at this, or I need this enhanced. Let's work together.
That answers my question right there.
Yeah.
Because my original question was going to be something along the lines of, if I go and I spend 7 years as a truck driver and I get out of the military and I want to start my own business, but I want to start my own business in underwater basket weaving, and I have no idea how to run social media, or I have no idea how to balance a checkbook, what then can I do? And that right there totally answers my question, because it is. We are all specialized in our field of interest. We're specialized in our passion, and we all have the tools and resources that I have what you need, you have what she needs, you have what I need, and collectively we all can build something that's going to,
Yeah, it is
lives.
all about building a community. And my official title at GoDaddy is community builder. That is my official title, because I am just really crazy passionate about this, is that we are not meant to work alone. We are not meant to be alone. We are not to, there is no one here who is solely independent, completely non-reliant on any other human being. There's not. There's just not. Okay? There's not.
I'm going to hold my tongue.
Yeah. I mean, if you buy groceries, if you travel anywhere, you're dependent on other human beings. Totally. But you also have to put your ego aside. And this is the biggest challenge that I see, especially for veterans, is putting that ego aside.
No, it's not.
Exactly. Especially with the dudes, all right? Let's all work towards a common good, right? If you're helping me and I'm helping you, we are lifting each other up in success. And you have to do well to do good. Listen to what I'm saying. You have to do well to do good. Those of us who are in this room and the people who are listening want to give back to the veteran community. They want to do it in big ways, in meaningful ways. Sometimes that means money. Sometimes that means time. Sometimes that means resources. But in order to take care of whatever community it is that you want to take care of, you have to do well for yourself first.
Take charge now.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to get yourself on a level playing field before you can really give all your resources to someone else. I mean, you need to be squared away. We need to get ourselves squared away.
Yeah,
yes.
Straight up.
Then we can pull our buddy up by his BDU top and get him dusted
That's
off.
right. But this is a challenge in our community, because we have a lot of guilt in our community, or a lot of, I don't feel like I deserve it.
Explain that a little bit. I know we've talked about it exactly like you described it to me on the show, but your perspective.
Yeah. So we have, there's a couple of different things. One is that, especially for people who have invisible trauma, It's very challenging for them, and I'm sure, Justin, you and I haven't talked about this specifically, but to go to the VA, if you even get to the VA, because you think you don't deserve it. You think you don't deserve the help because your buddy didn't come back and you did.
Yeah.
Or because you go somewhere and you see somebody who's missing limbs and you have all of your limbs. And so you feel like you don't deserve it because your body is whole on the outside, or appears to be whole on the outside. And I'm here to tell you, we have to get over that.
Yeah.
And we have to move past the fear of asking for help.
Yes.
It is a fear if you are not asking for help. You are fearful of being judged. You are fearful of people telling you you are weak. You are fearful that somebody's going to tell you that you're crazy. Every single day, serving in the military, we walk through a wall of fear. And in your life, you have to walk through that wall of fear to come out to get the reward on the other side.
Well said.
Damn.
And I've been thinking it was just because I was so damn tough because I'm a Ranger all along. No, you are absolutely right, though. I actually literally do see the amputees in my head, and I'm like, they deserve it more than I do. Or maybe not even that they deserve it more than me, but that I want them to have it first.
Yes.
Even though they've been here for 3 months since they got home, and I've been here for 12 years still waiting, I want them to be taken care of first. And I think that's just... Yes. I had a good chain of command where the soldiers always ate before the officers. And so I look at it like my brother who's more damaged than me needs to eat before I eat, and I'm going to let him do that.
Yes.
You know, but we create our own fatal flaw in the VA system when we do that. The VA has never felt the full burden of all the damage that's been done to all of us. And I feel like by filing the claim and winning, I can teach others how to do it who are deserving of the victory like
Yes.
I am. And the VA needs to know how many of us are hurt and sick.
Yes.
Because they'll never create a system big enough to take care of us all if they don't even know how many of us there are.
Listen, the whole country needs to know that, not just the VA.
What if, as like a show of force and a potential like peaceful protest strategy, like
at the VA Palo Alto tomorrow,
every single VA across
I'm
the
in
board,
town.
all nearly
Let's do
22
this.
million of us all walked to our VA and said, "Yo, this is what's going on. This is what I need. This is what you've provided
Oh
me.
my gosh.
And this is what
Dude.
you
Oh
should
my
do."
gosh.
Million Man March, but we don't got to go all the way to DC. You can go to your
Veteran
local.
March.
22 million.
We could pull numbers like that, I bet you.
I'm just saying. This is the Veterans Take Charge radio show. Take charge now. We'll be right back.
Hi, registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs here. I've been studying healthy bodies for 35 years, and what I've got to tell you may shock and surprise you, but if you listen up, it may change your life. One of the most important health strategies you can use is simple, easy, and won't cost you a dime. In fact, you'll probably end up making money in the long run. I'm talking about reducing calories and even fasting, healthy ideas that have been practiced for thousands of years. Caloric restriction and fasting turn on genes that stimulate growth and repair and slow down the aging process. If done correctly, they can help keep the body in fat-burning mode. And they've got important effects on stimulating motivation and drive and brain power. After all, when someone's young and ambitious, we often say that they're hungry. In a famous experiment in the 1940s, scientists from the University of Chicago showed that they could increase lifespan of animals by up to 20% simply by denying them food every third day. And in a review that was published in 2007 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, researchers from the University of California at Berkeley found that alternate day fasting could save lives by decreasing risks for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, the 3 leading causes of death in the United States. Moreover, they found it helpful for the nervous system and the brain, improving cognitive function and providing protection from Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease too. Fasting lowers insulin levels in the blood, which is always a good thing. Excessive insulin secretion is associated with all chronic degenerative diseases, as well as accelerated aging, and keeping insulin stable and low is one of the most effective ways to assure a long, healthy, and disease-free life. Pharmacist Ben here, urging you to go to KSCOhealth.com to order Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, and other nutritional supplements that I personally use and recommend. You can purchase these premium quality products at wholesale prices online at KSCOhealth.com. That's KSCOhealth.com. I'm the pharmacist that believes that staying healthy and strong is not only about medicine, it's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to do its work. Go to KSCOhealth.com. Make sure you check out the cool videos too at KSCOhealth.com. That's KSCOhealth.com.
I said it. I love this show. I am so biased, but still, I love this show. Everybody should go to facebook.com/KSCO Vets, like and share our page.
Do it.
With everyone.
Heck yeah. Once again, December 9th, December 16th, Vets for Vets. We're going to be screening Almost Sunrise, and we're going to be having a discussion panel. December 9th is going to be over at the Sanford Recital Hall, Cabrillo College. December 16th at the Veteran Memorial Building, downtown Santa Cruz. It's going to be awesome. So one thing that had come up a couple of times was taking charge now, taking charge at the ground level, taking charge at the local level, and having that affect our community, having that affect our county, our state, our nation. And I really, really, really want everybody to take those words to heart. Get involved. Get involved, be involved. You have to do well to do good. Did I say that right?
You have to do good to do well.
That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah. You got it right. You got it.
We need more. We have qualified people. I use that in air quotes. We need better people with integrity and motivation and accountability to be in our office. We need more people to represent us that reflect us.
Yes. Agreed.
I was going to rant more about that. But
well, you're right on the money, dude. Like it helped. I feel like the more veterans that are in the VA system working,
yes,
the more people that we walk in and relate to immediately upon first contact.
Relate to.
Yeah.
Yes.
They feel us. They can feel us. You know what I mean? And then even if I come in and I'm pissed off because some doctor who's not a veteran denied me or whatever, you know, he'll be like, "Hey, brother, it's cool. I'm from 1st Infantry Division. I'm from such and such." And you're just like, okay, I can't treat this guy like scum because he's one of me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's not one of them.
It's really interesting that you say that, because that's what I want to see in life in general, of like, let's work with more people who look like us, right? Who can relate to us. And by look, I mean like
tattoos, mohawks.
Yeah, well, you know, I got tattoos too, dude. But I mean, being a female and so I was in the Air Force, but I was the only female in my shop. And then when I deployed, I was the only female out of about 250 people.
You
right?
must have been loving that, right?
Well, hey, you know, we can talk about what happens TDY stays TDY. But then moving from the military into law enforcement. Right. So I moved into law enforcement. Now, I grew up on a ranch. I'm a cowgirl. I grew up in an environment where, like, I was just always one of the guys. Right.
Grit.
Yeah. The grit. That's where the grit comes from. It comes from my dad and the way that I was raised. I totally lost my train of thought. But talking about people who look like us, right? And this is something that I didn't really understand for a long time working in the tech industry. So I've been in the tech field for about 10 years. And this is a common thing that you hear a lot. There's not enough women in tech. There's not enough diversity in tech. There's not, all of these things, you hear that, right? And me, I'm like, I just want the right person for the job. Like, I don't care what your ethnicity is or your race or your gender. I just want the right person, the right skill set for the job. And I used to have this debate with this really good friend of mine. And she would say, no, we've got to make sure that we have more diversity in fields. Now, the thing is, in the military, listen, it's diverse. That was my first exposure to diversity, was joining the military, which I think gives us all a better scope and understanding of the world in as a whole. What she said to me was this thing, is that there aren't people who look like us in tech. So whether it's females or it's black women or it's Asian women or whatever, and that's what we need more of, is like, let there be more people who look like us, whatever you are, okay? Because we're all individuals and we all need to come together, but we have to identify the people who look like us. And the challenge is, we have all of these veterans still, we've got some World War II vets hanging around. We've got Korean War, we've got Vietnam War vets who are aging and are having even more trouble because they haven't had issues addressed. They haven't had mental issues addressed. They haven't had physical issues addressed. They've probably been working in jobs that they're really miserable because they weren't told or taught additional skills, or that they have educational opportunities available to them. And so it's our responsibility. You guys are much younger than I am, but it's our responsibility now to make sure that we're taking care of our past veterans and that we are creating a better community right now so that future generations, our future warfighters, are not facing the challenges and the problems that we're having right now.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. I can pretty much guarantee you that some veteran just got back from the military, back home into Santa Cruz today. Somebody got home from the military today. And what's waiting for him? Is it better than what was waiting for me? You know what I mean? Has any progress been made? I mean, is he going to have an easier transition than I did? Or is it going to be a 12-year struggle for him?
Right.
And what could we have done to prevent that, if so? That's like really what the journey's been for me, is like, how the heck do I navigate this system and get victory because I deserve it, and then help him do it in a fraction of the time, or her? Like, how do I push them through it faster? And that's what I hope Veterans Take Charge can really become, is like a feeding system into, well, you got hurt in the military, your case is closed. You're done. You got maxed out. Now you can go back to college and move on with your life, and your kids will be taken care of because we didn't give you such a minute amount of money that you're going to be starving forever.
It has a generational impact.
Yeah.
And so if we can recognize that we can do better for our past veterans and we can do better for our future veterans, it has a generational impact. If we can keep our brothers and sisters from killing themselves right now, it has a generational impact on their children.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the power. We have the resources. We have the vision, the goal, the mindset is there.
Shoot, we don't even just have it. We are the power.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
It's us.
Yeah.
You know?
I think more so than any time in history, we are at a point where the military family is coming together more and more, specifically in the veteran community, because we are tired of getting the treatment that we're getting, or I'm tired of seeing people like you, Justin, having to go through the things that you're going through, and we want to come together to do better, and I want to see more of that. I want us to push our egos aside, and I want us to work together to build a better now. It's not even a better future. It's a better right now. And that's only going to happen if we can put our differences aside, if we can push our egos out the door and work together collectively towards incremental changes. Because small incremental changes are possible. We need to take a step back from the I want to do this huge, massive thing and make these small incremental changes. If we continue to do that, those incremental changes add up over time. And the next thing you know, we'll turn around and we'll be like, holy look at what we did, right? Small incremental changes. I want to submit to you, I'm going to challenge you, because I've heard you say it a couple times, that one of your goals is, I'm in this process, I'm in this journey, it sucks. But if I can attain victory, then I can help somebody else, right? You are attaining victory every single day. Celebrate those small wins. I know that you haven't gotten exactly what you want or what you see at the end, but every single day you have a victory in learning how to navigate or how to circumvent or talking to the right people. You right now are already on a journey where you can guide other people.
Mm-hmm.
So do not wait until you've conquered that mountain. Bring your people along with you now.
You know what I found the most important resource is along the way too is the people.
Yes.
It's the network.
Yes.
That I have been plugged in with. My mom literally infiltrated the veterans nonprofit sector to plug in with people,
Yes.
and she started feeding me, hey, meet this guy. Hey, meet this guy. Hey, meet Congressman Panetta. Hey, meet so-and-so. Hey, meet so-and-so. And what I found was they each had a little bit to add to my story. And they each had a direction to send me on and a path to send me down. And the more that I listened, the more that I was able to piece together what was going to work for me. And I am like so effing close to winning this thing. It's ridiculous right
and
now.
guess what? Now you have the opportunity to be the piece of somebody else's story.
I'm going to.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is what this broadcast is meant to do for me.
Absolutely.
This is my struggle and
This-
what I want to pass on.
One thing I want to touch on that you talked about there is the people and the network. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people who are transitioning out make is they wait until they're out to start looking for a job.
Yep.
Or to start thinking about what they want to do, because they're just like, I'm on terminal leave, I'm down to I'm down to double digits, I'm down to single digits. It's just about that date, right?
Short term.
Because
2 days
I'm
and a wake up.
Yeah, I'm a short termer, like, because all you're focused on is like, I'm out of this place and I'm ready to move on to something else, but you've forgotten to plan what your next thing is. And so while you're still active duty is the time to really be building your network and be building those relationships. It's not after you're done.
Yeah.
The same way with if you have a job. If you have a job right now and you want to do something else, or if you're in school right now and you want to get a job, like, you should be building that network and that community right now. It's not waiting until, okay, I've graduated, now what am I going to do? No, you should constantly be identifying your goals, develop your strategy, and adapting your tactics.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you get out and you're high and dry. You're not prepared
Yes.
with the people resource you need.
Yep.
And that's another thing. I want to add on to what you just said about preparing. If you're going to be taking on the VA in a disability case, start looking for who your veteran service officer or attorney is going to be before you get out.
Yes.
That way you know, my first day home, I'm going to go sign up for the VA so I can get those meds that my doctor says I need, and I don't have to wait on prescription refills like I did for 18 months when I first got home. The prescriptions never came, right? I needed those people to be in place, and they weren't, because I didn't even know I was going to need them.
Yeah.
You know, you should assume, I think it would be safer to assume that it's going to be a struggle with the VA as opposed to fluid. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just for your own personal speed, plan on a difficult transition instead of too easy of one.
Right.
I thought it was going to be too easy. My chain of command was like, dude, you're set. We got all your paperwork in. We recommended you for medical retirement. But the med board doesn't always read what your commander said. And so
Yeah.
it was a different ballgame than what
Well,
I expected.
but it's a great message for life in general.
It is.
It's just that back, like, be prepared,
Yeah.
right? And don't rely on, hey, my mom told me it's sunshine and roses every single day.
Yeah,
Because
it's
then when
not.
you go outside, it's not.
Do you do a podcast or?
Yeah, so I have a weekly live show that I broadcast. I do work for GoDaddy. I do almost every Thursday at 11 Pacific time on the GoDaddy Facebook page. And what we talk about are tools, information, and resources that are designed to help small businesses, entrepreneurs, freelancers. We bring on all different types of people. We had a Navy vet on last week who started a technology company. We've had people on talking about identifying your target audience and SEO and website, and then personal coaches and all kinds of stuff. So I say almost every Thursday because I'm the host, and if I'm traveling a lot, I don't get to do it. I am actually doing it this Thursday from Global Growth Marketing Conference in San Francisco, which is part of the reason why I'm in town. I mean, really, I came for you guys, but
You said 11 Pacific?
11 Pacific, yes, on the GoDaddy Facebook page, almost every Thursday. My goal is to get it every Thursday. Yeah.
Now, I haven't brought this up to Dave before, but I've wanted, all along with Veterans Take Charge, I've wanted to have an all-female broadcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
All-female veteran broadcast?
Yeah.
You're waiting 3 years to tell me this?
Yeah.
It's something that I think we need. I
Yeah.
mean, we need a strong female force as a part of the show as well.
Yep.
Not just male representation.
I agree with that.
And I think you're a badass. And we've interviewed several other females. Coincidentally, a few of them are Air Force vets as well. Most of them, actually. And I would love to get you guys surrounded around this table right here.
Yeah.
And doing a female-themed veteran broadcast.
Yeah, I would love it. And I know a lot of really awesome, amazing, strong, intelligent women who also serve this country.
Awesome. Party in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I'm down.
Heather Dobson, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
This has been a very, very insightful, motivating broadcast for me. Like my eyes are open in a lot of different ways. And this is exactly why you're here.
Oh,
it was freaking
thanks, guys.
on a
We
scale of
barely
1 to 10.
scratched the surface.
I know.
Yeah, seriously.
I
Scale
know.
of 1 to 10, this was like a 15.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Like I was thinking about it. It's you know, I had an agenda of things I wanted to talk about. We barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, man. But this was freaking perfect because it was potent.
Yes,
It was potent with very good stuff.
Listen, if people are taking time out of their day to listen to me, I want to make sure I leave them with some kind of value.
Well, apparently it's working because
Yeah.
people are dropping off Dr. Peppers.
I know, that's the best. Again, thanks, Nori, for my Dr. Pepper. I also like Tito's vodka.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Veterans Take Charge radio show. We'll be back next week. Well, Justin will be back next week, so I'm gonna be out of town doing some good stuff.
I'm trying to get former Navy SEAL Marvin Ropp, 20-year Navy SEAL. He published a book with Dr. Wallach, and I would like to talk about their agricultural supplements because food is healing, and it begins from the ground up. So
December
that's
9th,
topic of
Saturday.
conversation.
Sorry, I apologize.
Go for it.
I cut you off. December 9th, Saturday, 4 p.m. Be over at Cabrillo College, Samper Recital Hall, almost sunrise. We're going to be screening that event with Vets for Vets and a whole bunch of awesome people. Until next time, folks, enjoy your week. Take charge now and do damn good things.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. Where is Special Counsel Robert Mueller going in his investigation of Russia election meddling? California Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein on NBC's Meet the Press.
I think what we're beginning to see is the putting together of a case of obstruction of justice.
Mueller sent out shockwaves last week with former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's guilty plea to lying to the FBI. Today, President Trump went after the FBI. CBS's Laura Podesta.
President Trump is slamming the Federal Bureau of Investigation on Twitter Sunday.